Okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to show just a real quick way on how we can incorporate Tablet Command into command training centers. So we've talked about this before in Orland Park, and what this brief video is going to show is how we can kind of work together to establish a way to very cleanly manage an incident in the command training center where everyone can kind of see what is going on. And when I say that is that obviously we're going to have two incident commanders. We have the initial IC, and then we have the overall IC that's supported down the road that's in the command car and at the command post. But what we're talking about here is typically how we manage it is that we use a whiteboard or a grease board or a pad of paper. And while it's excellent to use, it doesn't exactly allow us the ability to track things down, and it also leads to some questions sometimes when we get into handwriting. I know my handwriting is like chicken scratch, so it leads to a lot of questions. And this is also a way that we can kind of keep everything tracked and recorded, and then lead to further developments down the road. So what I'm showing here up on the screen is I'm showing an incident in Florence, South Carolina that I made to do a demonstration. And then over here, we see that we have our Tablet Command screen that's on an iPad that I'm sharing as well. And we see that we have an incident at 2024 on Irby Street in Florence, South Carolina. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that incident, and we'll see that just like we would on a normal incident, we have dispatched this run. And it is, it's being, we have dispatched this run, and we have companies that are responding. And so we see that we have our initial engine 1, engine 2, truck 1, truck 2, ambulance 1, and battalion 1. So now en route, we can kind of, well, my suggestion would be 10 iPads and an enterprise account. Very cost effective. We would not do any CAD integration because we're doing a CAD simulation here. So we would have a dispatcher in the room using the CAD simulator, sending out the information just like they would on a normal incident. Now down the road, if we want to tie in with the CAD, we certainly can do that. But this would be a quick, easy way that we could manage it. Now, when I say 10 iPads, that way we can, we have enough iPads to do 2 scenarios if we want to, or we can do 1 scenario with everybody having an iPad. At the very least, we would have the ability to give the initial IC and the IC iPads and the lead instructor's iPad so they can watch what's going on. So we can obviously send out some information to the incident. So we see here we have a report of a fire across the street. The incident was created. You know, we can say that it's, we can send them notes and say that, you know, that this is a vacant building, and we kind of get them clued in on looking at the MDT or getting information from the dispatchers as they go along. So now what we're going to do is we can, if we have accurate GPS information, we can look at the incident from a satellite view, something that we can totally do through Blue Card. We have the ability to go back and get those addresses, get the GPS coordinates through Google Earth. It's something that takes a little bit of time, but we would have the ability to do it. And then we can go over here. We'll just go over to Street View, and we're going to go ahead and manage this incident. So now what we're looking at here is we're looking at our initial companies getting on the scene and giving a size up. So what's going to happen is that, you know, engine 1's going to get on the scene. They're going to give their size up. They're going to establish command and provide information to the next incoming company. So we're going to hit send, and then obviously this is going to be upgraded to a box. So what we're seeing here is that we see that we have our additional apparatus have been requested and assigned to the incident. Now, that initial IC is going to set up his incident, and the battalion chief is going to obviously going to work his is going to assume command when he gets to the scene. So what we would see here is that engine 1 marks on the scene, and let's say that they go to the delta side of the structure, which is where the bulk of the fire is, and so they're going to initiate some fire attack. They're going to ask the next truck company to come in, and we're going to ask them to do some forceful entry to get those doors opened up. We may ask the next in apparatus to establish water supply. So we're going to say H2O for them. We may ask the next due truck to come into the incident, and we're going to have them do search and on the entire structure that so we have them somewhere else. Then we may do our ambulance is going to be rehab, and then our third due engine coming in, we might make them RIT. So now we've kind of assigned our companies as to where they're going to be. So when the battalion chief gets on the scene and he does his initial talk back with the initial incident commander, gathers his information, says, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take it. Now he can go through and he can kind of go through his checklist. Now the checklists are totally customizable. I just have IFDs here. So did he do a size up? Did he establish command? Did a 360 survey get done? Did he repeat his assignment? Now we can kind of lay out our apparatus to where we want them to be. So let's say along the way that we're going to ask for another couple engines and another couple trucks to be dispatched on this incident. And so what we'll do is we'll hit send here, and we see that we're going to put our battalion 2 over here. We're going to put our other battalion chief, we'll make him over here into staging. So we can create that as a staging. And we see that we have our additional apparatus here have been dispatched. So when we get to a point where they are responding, then we can go back through and the dispatcher can say, okay, now they're en route. And we see that they're responding. And then when they get to a position where we want to stage them, then obviously we can get them into staging. So we'll put them into staging here. Now, let's say that he asks for a boatload of resources to come into the incident, and so we want to add in a bunch of different equipment here. So we're going to hit send here with our different equipment. We're going to hit send, and you see we have our companies here in staging. So we'll put them over here with our staging manager. So now, boom, we got a whole bunch of other apparatus. So we'll put over another ambulance over here in rehab. They've been dispatched. Now I want you to watch squad 1 here. Let's say that squad 1 takes a pass for whatever reason. They're assigned to a different incident, or the department doesn't want them to respond. So what we're going to do is we're going to change that out. And this is just something that we can do for as far as resources go. We can kind of change things. Also, I want you to watch see, now we're into squad 2, and now we're going to go to a mutual aid channel. So we'll say Mavis Blue 1. We're going to change our radio channel here too. So now we'll do that real quick here. It's going to change over to Blue 1 here in just a second here. So now as we get into our incident here, and as companies start to arrive on the scene, we can kind of manage the incident and show that we have our apparatus here on the scene. So now, a couple different things with this. At the same time that we're doing this, we have the ability to kind of watch the incident from the lead instructor's point of view. So I'm going to go ahead and maximize this so we can see things. So now what we're seeing here is 2 identical incidents. So this is the incident commander managing the incident. This is the lead instructor standing over. He doesn't have to lean over his shoulder. He doesn't have to continue to write stuff down on the board. He can watch the incident play out without having to write things down. And so he can kind of see where things are going. At the same time, let's say we're 13 minutes into the incident and there's something that he wants to see done. So the lead instructor says, I want you to take a screen capture. So the incident commander does a screen capture really quick, And now we've locked in that time frame for that incident. So we can go back through and say, when we do our after action, I want you to go back to your 14 minutes and I want you to show me your screen at 14 minutes and what you had and where you had your apparatus, so we can kind of talk about things there on that incident. So now we obviously have a lot of equipment on the scene, so we can move our ambulances over into to rehab. We can put them over here into a different location. We can say we're going to make our we're going to make them a supervisor here, and we're going to put this as the Bravo side, and we can put in our squad over here on the incident. And now we have our comm band. So here's an interesting thing with the comm band. So we'll send these guys over. We'll make them their own group. So we'll put a command post in here. Now you'll see that we have our command post up and running, and we'll put a battalion chief over there at the command post. Now here's the interesting thing. So the command post is obviously located in a different part of the building. So what we can do is, let's say that this iPad right here is in the command post. They're watching the incident, and we're ready to transfer command down to the command post. So all I have to do is, if I'm Battalion 5 down at the command post, I'm going to request the ability to manage this incident. And I am the incident commander, and I'm going to say, yes, I want you to manage that incident. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to walk down to the incident, I'm going to walk down to the command post. And while I'm doing that, that Battalion 5, who's the incident commander over here, he can maneuver companies wherever he needs to. Now, I'm watching him as I walk down but I'm not managing it. So if I can't manage it anymore. Now, when I get down to the command post and I'm ready to go, I can just hit manage the incident. And what it's going to do is it's going to transfer command back to me. And now I am going to have the ability to manage the incident again. So it'll be mine all over again. And now I can move companies to rehab, or I can move companies where I want to, or request additional resources. So just a quick down and dirty video. If you have any questions, obviously send me an email, and we can get started on the project. Thank you very much for your time.